Right now, it does look like we're just going to have a guarding position from the Akuma Avengers on blue side. Meanwhile, XSV Orion wanting to make sure they can battle for some of this early positioning. Iconic does find the Lilia in her typical 5-point. This level 1 fight is going to be super important here. The Lucian is going to have nice DPS here as he get that PTA proc really quickly onto the Misfortune, turning away now onto Coach Yarg. Chief not wanting to continue to fight in against these two. The Flash Ignite auto attack will finish off Chief, but now there is going to be a return kill for the Misfortune onto the Leona. I think both of these supports... Well, actually, Coach Yarg has Hex Flash. I don't know if Chief has theirs. Bob Robertson wants to be able to prevent Fluke from being able to actually go back to base here. And so he's going to have to get a very late reset. Might actually decide to cancel this. So I'm going to rearrange my scoreboard here as Jolts and SGA are looking to get a little bit busy on top side. A little body bop from Jolts is going to keep SGA away from him. Okay. Okay, guys, I mean, both these junglers need to be thinking about what's going to be going on bot here. Chief did not lose his flash, and so he's actually feeling kind of okay about this, but Coach Yarg could be looking to play very aggressive here. IXZY did opt for the first strike on Misfortune this game. Got those immediate boots, meanwhile Lucian opting in for that dagger. Still, those boots can be really important for being able to find the right spacing here. Chief is going to find her Aftershock, but a little bit too late. As Coach Yarg is still getting the better of this support 1-on-1 through these bushes. Chief wants to press forward, does not find it, and as it seems that the Akuma Avengers will be backing off in this bot side matchup, I will be taking a quick second to step away here, guys. I will be back in just a minute, and for now, just enjoy this game. Alright guys, I am back. Apparently both these teams want to get real bloody. 7-5 in just 7 minutes of gameplay. I gotta try to get my bearings here to understand exactly what's happened here. Couple of kills on Lilia and Lucian is super massive for the Akuma Avengers, as these are the two champions that really are the crux of their draft. They really want to be making sure that these two champions in particular are in a good position. As Jolt misses a body slam, now SGA is going to be able to open up in this topside 1v1. Gonna have to use that ulti just to get SGA off of him. Meanwhile, a couple of kills going over to IXZY, really also very major. Likewise for Team Orion. Bob Robertson getting a little caught out here, but the Never Move is not going to find him, and Coach Yarg is not going to have range to be able to start locking him up. This leaves Fluke in a 2v1 situation for the moment, with the Volibear having priority to be able to get to the bot side. You can see Fluke is opening up with the calling on the wave, but only really is able to trim away some of those minions. Volibear is making his way down here at the same time that Coach Yarg is. You can see that Fluke is wisely being very respectful, knowing that he could be a potential dive target even with that flash and barrier available. Wisely, Coach Yarg has made his way down parallel to Iconic, and this is going to be Yarg deciding to shove off and make sure that the red team is not able to go for that dive. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, you are able to see that Riddy has been able to successfully take away, I think, all 3 of those grubbies. So that's going to be quite nice for the Akuma Avengers, securing those sets of grubs for themselves the last 3 games, or the last 2 games rather. And then, of course, I got to take a note of the fact that Orion has been able to secure the first dragon of the game for themselves, sort of very similar to the last game. Bob Robertson now trading actively with the Swain is going to have to pop that R. Iconic going to roll up. Bounty Hunter, something that I've noticed has been pretty loose with his gameplay the last couple of games. Even on the Smolder in a winning game, he was pretty much the main member of the Akuma Avengers who was finding himself caught out, as the Volibear is now going to be finding himself a little caught out here, but is going to immune that Lilia ultimate. Good use of the Volibear ultimate there to make sure that nothing is going to happen to him. But that is going to be the Lilia securing the crab. Got to always check up on these CS leads. As Lilia's dynamic into the Volibear generally is that Volibear has the ability to be a little bit more aggressive and consistent in the early game. Meanwhile, the Lilia is looking to constantly scale up. But when the difference is starting to get this large, you do have to question whether or not the Volibear is going to be able to make up that difference fast enough. Directed camera has us flicking around everywhere, but right now it's very important to be paying attention to this bot side matchup. I think IXZY just lost their flash in that previous trade, and now Coach Yarg has no ultimate, but is thinking about what he wants to do for this Hex Flash. You can see with these stacked up caster minions, if Fluke wanted to, could have just built a slow push, but instead Fluke does just want to find himself a recall. Chief sweeping, probably going to delay the Leona's base, but really, Coach Yarg just wants to make sure that his Lucian's able to find a nice base timer for themselves. IXZY, really not a very strong pusher. Chief is going to chunk out the wave, but Lucian shouldn't miss too much on this crash. SGA, playing with his TP up, is going to go forward and find the heal, is getting really low, but now is going to pop the Dominus, forcing away Jolt's flash. Jolt is going to have to be pretty wary of not having that ability now. SGA, knowing his limits pretty well on Renekton, was looking pretty low, but did a good job of knowing that Jolt just wouldn't be able to have the damage to finish him off in that situation. With both top laners having TP, the prospects of this dragon becoming extremely bloody is becoming much higher, as Iconic is going to go forward onto Coach Yarg, who's really checking him, being kind of bold in the way that they're just fighting back on this Volibear, but Coach Yarg is going to fumble that Leona ultimate, and it's not going to connect on Iconic, and now Coach Yarg, no HP and no ultimate, he's just going to sort of limp away from the situation. Jolts and SGA both wanting to prevent each other from being able to make a difference on this dragon fight. Right now it does seem like the Akuma Avengers are very outmatched on that side of the map, as Bob Robertson is going to get CC'd up and narrowly step away from Riddy's Lilia bowling ball. These guys just keep on drawing my directed camera as they are just scrapping so much in that top side. And Bounty Hunter finds himself a nice little stack right there on Chief, who's clearing a ward. So we did get to see the Akuma Avengers wisely moving away from that dragon after that chunk onto Coach Yarg of Iconic doing a good job of dodging away from that Leona ultimate. Just not enough control to actually be able to contest that dragon. And so 2 dragons going over to Orion is really good for them. That is one of the main things that their composition wants to make sure that it's doing. They do really need that Dragon Soul win condition to be able to play the game, as we do have 2 plays going on either side of the map. I do think that it should be okay, as Coach Yarg has no ultimate here. We're going to pan over and find that Adaconic is in the middle of his own jungle defending his honor. SGA is going forward with the Dominus, no Dominus available actually, even to just take out the Annie all by himself. Jolts is going to be trying to limp his way back in the lane as Bounty Hunter's out of mana. And really all in all there, Lilia goes down, the Annie goes down, as I should have been panning back bot side, as both teams are just scrapping constantly on both sides. The Lucian stepping over a little bit too much. Not even sure how that happened. Had to blow both of his sums. Would love to try to... Honestly, guys, let's get a replay on that, shall we? Shall we? Why not? I gotta know. Fluke overstepping, eats the Rel stun, eats the Rel ultimate. Nice ultimate from the Misfortune. And as I kind of expected but wanted to confirm there, Fluke just dashing forward on the wrong timer. Again, just being a little bit too bold. I do kind of feel like a little bit of a sense of overconfidence through the way that Akuma Avengers are sort of playing the map right now. Just very aggressive with a lot of their attempts and choices that they're playing right now. A lot of like their movement just feels very cocky, really, just to put it frankly. So we're gonna have to see if that continues to be a thing, or if that continues to bite them in the ass in a couple of spots here. So we'll put our time controls away. This Misfortune having this Yumu's is really nice and kind of a big deal, but it does continue to signal that Orion is going to have to continually index on this really early game identity. Really important that everybody is prepared as possible for this dragon in 3 minutes. It's going to be a very crucial fight. The flash for Chief I don't think will be available for this one, so that's a really big thing to have to keep in mind. Things should be kind of chill for the next 3 minutes, but the way that both these teams have been fighting, it does feel like another skirmish is almost bound to happen. Maybe thinking about what item completions we're really looking for that are super key. All these skirmishes could create such a situation. As Riddy, once again, is just forcing the issue by going for invades into Orion's jungle. Probably was just getting away with it a lot more early game, but now dying topside and now losing his flash right around that blue himself will now not have that flash available for that dragon encounter. And so right now you can see Adaconic charging forward is going to get rooted up by the Never Move. Is going to be going very low here by multiple of artillery abilities coming down on top of him. And now what Adaconic thought would be a fast play is not going to be anything but his grave. Bob Robertson not quite finding that stun onto Swain until the very end there. Adaconic, not like a super consequential death, but obviously I actually didn't catch who got that kill. He gets a kill over to Lilia, if I had to guess. It doesn't seem like either team is going to have anyone who's accelerated enough to be able to get to that second item. Right now, Jolt is on his Roa. Adaconic really probably wants to be getting into his second item before he's ready for like really big scraps. But really, right now, I feel like Orion is in a really good spot to be able to try to control space around this bot river, start pressuring this dragon. The caveat to this entire thing is that already the Akuma Avengers have found enough pressure on the top side to be able to just straight up go for this Herald. And the problem with them being able to get this Herald a minute in advance of the dragon is that they could summon that Herald on mid-wave and nearly force Orion to respond to that Herald. And this can create sort of artificial priority for them to be able to make their way into that bot river and secure that dragon. It's going to create a lose-lose type of situation for Orion. Going to have to really be looking out for how the Akuma Avengers decide to actually use that objective. I think last game they might have taken it and not even utilized it. Unsure really on that. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about it until I've been able to verify it, but nonetheless, time is ticking down for this dragon play as Jolts and SGA are just hitting each other for fun, wanting to both make sure that they have lots of damage done after this game has completed. Bob Robertson just walking forward, finds a stun onto 2. Kind of a nice Annie engage as Chief is now here to follow up, but where's the damage going to come from? Bounty Hunter is not a tanky Swain yet, and now both TPs are coming in. Both top laners are going to show up. Renekton instantly going to go into the Dominus, I would assume, but it's actually going to be now IXZY is going to be fighting the Fluke to get stunned out of his culling, and now IXZY flashing away from the Leona, and you can see that SGA is just such a massive problem for this composition as the bowling ball from Lilia does find its way onto the Misfortune. Fluke did so much work in that duel. Will look like a really good play initially from XSV Orion is actually just going to be Riddy, as we talked about in pregame, finding his way into the play a little bit late, and that is just all that is needed for the Akuma Avengers to be able to win that mid-game skirmish, and that is going to be their Drake, and that is absolutely heartbreaking if you are Orion. They had a nice engage there onto 2 targets, it's just the convergence wasn't fast enough because it was just a little bit unexpected. It was just sort of a pick. It was just sort of a moment found by a couple of their members before all of their damage is in the right spot. And you can see that Fluke actually on the Lucian had so much to do with that play. Just ended up drawing so many cooldowns with the way that he was positioning onto that Misfortune. And when the Misfortune ultimate isn't really good for this composition, it's very hard to imagine where their damage is coming from. Riddy took so long to get this dragon down. Really could have been a recontest from Orion, but it didn't end up happening. A shutdown going over to Misfortune is pretty meaningful for whatever subsequent fights might be happening this game, but in a sense, in a way, the damage is kind of already done. You really wanted to see that Orion composition be able to find its way into a fast Dragon Soul win condition. It's going to be very important for them to be very savvy and very clever with the way that they approach the rest of this game, as it's going to be the Akuma Avengers slowly outscaling them in this one. Jolt's just kind of been a punching bag this game. Just constantly taking harass from SGA and now Bounty Hunter. Iconic making his way back in is going to get a refresh on that Q because that's just how Volibear do. Now Jolt with the R is going to knock back Bounty Hunter, who continues to just kind of die on cooldown. You can already see that Swain is starting to get extremely tanky and hard for the likes of Orion to actually be able to take down. None of these champions particularly high DPS, and once that Swain starts getting into a couple of more items here, if he's in the right place at the right time, just not going to be killable. It's just going to be a complete menace as far as his utility and his ability to be able to actually control these fights. Now we're going to see that the Akuma Avengers are going to summon up that Herald on top side. Not typically the most normal use of the Herald, as it's only going to be used to charge into a low health tier 1 top lane turret. Going to have to be interesting to see if... Yeah, pretty weak Herald usage overall. Really just getting a turret that was sort of a foregone conclusion. IXZY now trying to back off a little bit, but you can see a massive amount of burst coming out from this Misfortune. Already you have to recognize that the last 2 games, a lot of it has been all about what can the AD carry of Orion do. It was the Yunara previously, and now it's the Misfortune this game. The Misfortune has to be able to have a really good game for herself. She is in a position where she's pretty rich right now, which when you're playing this style of Misfortune with this Yomos, Collector into LDR, or maybe even Sheraldus, who knows what they're going to decide to do, you have to stay ahead of the curve of the game. If you fall behind in farm, if you fall behind in gold, your champion is just not going to be that threatening anymore. Right now, you can see that Riddy is fishing for a little bit of damage. A Q is going to be able to land from the Misfortune. The calling is going to go wide and find nothing. Bounty Hunter now flashing forward. It's going to go into the ulti. Misfortune is very low. No cleanse available. Leon ultimate's not going to be too good. Misfortune ultimate's also not going to be the best, but it is going to zone away the Swain for now. And just enough damage comes through to finish off that Volibear, as he is not particularly tanky. No magic resistance to speak of. Now Rob Bobertson is going to have to find a way to turn around the play. Jolt's now going to drop an ulti. It's not going to do much of anything. And you can see it's just really, really hard for this composition of Orion to play. There's so many damage threats And pretty good CC for the side of the Akuma Avengers. And the problem is, when all these cooldowns are being dropped on Misfortune's head from so far away, and they're getting chunked out to like 50% HP, 25% HP, or lower before they're actually able to participate in the play, they're not able to find conditions to actually be able to deal any damage at all whatsoever. And then the problem is, when the Misfortune's out of the play, the rest of the composition really isn't self-sufficient. It's just like, this is really the champion that cannot be getting opened up on immediately, but it's very hard to protect this Misfortune and set up for her to be able to actually do her thing. It's one of the big struggles of this champion, just very low HP, very squishy, very immobile, can do good damage in the right situations, but really does need specific conditions in order to super excel. This dragon is going to be very important already. Orion, having lost the last one, I mean, it makes this dragon feel even more important for them. Being down one dragon is already catastrophic. What is two dragons going to be? As you can see, Bob Robertson getting chased down by the Otacon a little bit here. Jolta is going to be trying to find some space against the Swain. He's just walking in a river, has been able to get to the point where he has two items, fairly tanky, has at least a lot of HP with that Rylai's, no Zonias yet. As you can see that right now, the Akuma Avengers doing a good job of forcing the issue. Now Riddy is going to cast the ulti, found two. Ooh, Chief doing a really good job of peeling here, but you can already see the Misfortune before anything has even really happened, just lost all of her HP to Lilia ulti plus Swain W. Before anything has happened, Bob Robertson also not able to find anything with that Proto Belt, kind of scuffed. Just the Misfortune, like, how do you play? And like, this dragon is so important. Now if they just misposition one more time, one more cooldown will just be the end of their life. The Misfortune is going to find a really, really, really big ultimate here, though. That's going to be two people instantly wiped from the fight. As much as I was doubting them, IXZY and the rest of Orion finding the fight that had to be done for them, setting up a beautiful phalanx in the river, is going to be charging down the throats of the Akuma Avengers. And congratulations to Orion finding themselves, man, just a miracle play really out of a game that felt like it was slowly starting to be squeezed away from them. Just ended up having the perfect setup for this Misfortune like we've been looking for. It looked so hard. IXZY losing so much HP to that initial poke war that was won by the Akuma Avengers, but nonetheless, they did not say die. They found a way to be able to position in that river, and then that's going to be the Dragon and the Otacon, and hopefully a turret or two going over to them right here. Man, I mean, there's still plenty of gold over to the side of the Akuma Avengers, but right now, after that play, there is life being breathed back into Orion and belief in their game to be able to actually win and even up this series in this do or die playoff match. Absolutely massive for them to be able to win that. But what is a moment to be able to survive and fight another day if you are Orion is still an opportunity for the Akuma Avengers to be able to find a way back into the game. They are not going anywhere. They are still plenty strong, and now you can see Coach Yard going forward onto the Volibear, who's getting CC'd up and gets hit by abilities from every single member of the opposing team. Fortunately, the Baron isn't up yet, but it's going to be up in 15 seconds. He's got a 40-second death timer. This could just be the Akuma Avengers forcing the issue and pressing tempo and going for a 25-minute spawn Baron as soon as it comes up. Misfortune does have that ultimate available, and the pit can be a very scary place for the likes of Akuma Avengers to actually have to be able to fight this champion. You see Gragas is making their way over, as right now the Akuma Avengers want to put their boot on the neck of Orion. Bob Robertson is able to find the engage onto the Swain. The Swain constantly getting caught out this game. Bounty Hunter, what are you doing? You gotta stop dying, my man. IXZY dealing enough damage to be able to finish off this faux tanky Swain. 2-8 already on this champion. And so, another bullet dodged if you are Orion, making sure that the Akuma Avengers are not able to actually secure that Baron for themselves. Now are themselves able to pressure down mid a little bit here. Don't have the grubbies themselves, though. Those have been claimed long ago by the Akuma Avengers. But with the Swain being down, they are now considering what they can do to this Baron. But need to keep in mind that that Swain does have teleport available. A Swain TP at the right time could just be a team fight win all by itself, in spite of the fact that Bounty Hunter has not been playing conservative enough in the right moments this game. You can see Bob Robertson on this Annie is getting to the point where they are, oh, Jolt's missing another body slam. Might be in a really bad spot. SGA is pinging for Coach Yarg to make their way up here because Jolt's kind of completely griefed the situation. SGA going into the dominance as Jolts is now going to try to fight his way out of here. A nice ulti as now Coach Yarg is kind of in a bad spot. Iconic opening up on him. IXZY now here to drop the DPS, and the whole game is around this misfortune, but a massive 3-man Lily ultimate is going to come through. Chief doing once again a great job of healing for them. SGA can do no more. Swain misses their never move. Riddy is trying to stack up their cooldowns, but on the side of the fight, Bob Robertson, I was just saying how scary this Annie is becoming, does just find the Lucian and blows them up all by themselves, and all of a sudden it's a situation for Orion to be able to actually look at the Baron, having done a beautiful job. Jolt's what initially looked like a complete mechanical fumble is now actually just quite healthy and ready to try to zone off this Lilia, so his team is able to secure the Baron. Chief is now looking for Riddy. Riddy has Flash, IXZY finishing off the Swain, but right now 3 members are on the case trying to make sure that Riddy can get nowhere near this pit. Riddy is still pretty healthy here, still pretty fast. No stuns, there's the stun. Riddy, no tenacity, or tenacity? Yeah, it does have it done, but it's going to be just enough with the Gragas ultimate and a couple of ticks of that Misfortune ultimate to make sure that Riddy uses that Flash to go back to the grave, and that's going to be a huge Baron picked up by Orion. You can feel the tempo and the pace of this team just picking back up again. Really, this Misfortune just so freaking fast. Everyone on the map just has the tier 2 boots, the strut, the Yomos, just able to roll up to the play on top side a little bit faster. Seeing that SGA and Coach Yarg thought they had found a pick onto Jolts, but my boy was just baiting, really just dropped the ultimate, mispositioned both of them, and then it was just Orion able to collapse in the play first, recognizing all they needed to do to be able to secure that Baron with the entirety of the enemy team chunked out was control Riddy. They did just that, and right now they can look to break the game wide open. IXZY, a little caught out. Flashes away, Leon ultimate now down. Chief is still very tanky here though, goes forward, finds 3. How much damage can be done here? Misfortune's in a really bad spot, could be going down here, but he's dealing a lot of damage and doesn't seem like there's enough done from the Akuma Avengers to be able to win the play, and indeed Bob Robertson just casually walks over, finishes off the end of the play. It's going to be all 5 members seemingly just dying to the winds for the Akuma Avengers. They committed so much to be able to finish off this Misfortune, but the locket and the barrier from them just able to keep this Misfortune up for so long and allowed her to be able to actually just open up and deal so much damage there, in spite of the fact that there was a nice initial pick. And right now, you can see the Volibear just making his way over to the Dragon, going to secure this for his team nice and easily. Realistically, if these boys wanted to just roll up down mid, there was long enough death timers to maybe consider an end here. But with no Misfortune, might have been a little bit challenging, to be completely fair. But in spite of that, mid inhib going down, Soul Point wins Soul going over to the side of Orion. Of course, they're going to be feeling great about this, contributing even more to their ability to be able to move to every play first. And right now, you're just reeling if you're the Akuma Avengers. It felt like you were in such a good spot, and then just play after play did not go your way, and all of a sudden, this sort of early game, mid game skew composition is just looking so mighty and so insurmountable. Have to try to find something very clever to be able to win out the next play. Fluke is 3 items. The Swain is sort of nowhere. Lily is not on 3 items yet. The Renekton is not really too scary anymore at this point of the game. You can feel that so many of these champions have just sort of fallen behind the curve of where they otherwise would have been. SGA on the side with Riddy. Leona is here trying to catch out the Annie before she can get cooldowns down. Did get the Tippers down, and Tippers will do quite a bit. Iconic wanted to try to get away from the play. Red side TP coming through. Leona trying to get away from the play as well, as Riddy has the ultimate available. Is going to have to pop it now. What can SGA do to help out their jungler? Not too much as they go back in, but now they're just going to get turned on. SGA will be going down before too long here. And now the rest of the Akuma Avengers are just going to be trying to find their way back to base to try to find another opening against just this zerging team that is the Orions right now. Jolts is looking for an ultimate to try to knock Bounty Hunter back into the rest of his team. IXZY just has nuclear damage right now. A stun from the Volibear. Jolts coming through. Knockabon to the Swain. This guy is completely butter. No Zonias to be used. Really, what was the point? Lucian opening up on the wave, not really how you want to be using that ability, obviously, because this is one of your most damaging things that you have left available in your arsenal. But what options do you have with the way that Orion is playing with each other right now? Just staying so grouped up, making sure that if anybody is going down or fighting, the rest of the squad is ready to respond in kind. Bob Robertson, TPing on a bot side, making sure to continue to pressure these objectives. Really, you can see the strangulation coming through from the Akuma Avengers right now. 2 inhibitors already down. You know what the next part of the drill is. Make sure that you allow those super minions to cook up a little bit. Break the bot lane turret. 3rd inhibitor. Game's unplayable. Elder Dragon, GG. It is formulaic at this point of the game, but the mission of the Akuma Avengers is to break the formula and break the script. We thought that Orion was going to be done with this game at one point, but they found that miracle fight to be able to find a way back in. Is it going to be possible? As Coach Yarg is now walking forward, not even going to proc the Aftershock, going to go down immediately. Fluke now has no dash, is going to be going down very quickly to this. Misfortune is dealing so much damage right now. Misfortune's ultimate is going to be down, and SJ is going to be open up on the Misfortune on the backside, but doesn't deal too much damage because it's mostly a tank Renekton. The Volibear now going to be able to finish off the Lilia. Bob Robertson just going to drop their full combo on a Renekton, and by itself will probably be enough to finish that guy off, as now the Annie's going to run away, flash away, just to preserve a little bit of KDA, because let me tell you right now, just such an ace, such a team fight win, 0 death for the side of Orion. It's just going to be them completely slamming, snowballing, rolling over everything that the Akuma Avengers thought was going to happen in this game. They flipped the narrative of the game on its head, and I'm so pleased to see it, as we are now going to be 1-1, series tied up. We are going to be going to Game 4, Game 5 of Fearless in this series. Well, not Game 5 necessarily, but at least Game 4. So we got ourselves a series on our hands, boys. Going to have to be looking at what these teams are going to be wanting to do, transitioning into our 3rd game. I want to give a lot of credit to a couple things I noticed.